Welcome, you're watching NDTV Profit. I'm Tamanna Inamdar, and a story that we want to focus on is the push for renewable energy in India. One of the leaders, and the leader actually, Tata Power, had a very, I would say, murky day today. From a stock market perspective, they've crossed a market cap of 1 lakh crore rupees. It is the country's largest vertically integrated power company, which owns and operates over 14 gigawatts of power capacity. The MD and CEO of Tata Power, Praveer Sinha, joins us now to speak about this journey and what's next. Dr. Sinha, thank you so much for speaking with us here on NDTV Profit. We're so glad to have this conversation with you in our first week and understand what the company sees as panning out in terms of renewable energy. So thank you first of all for being here, and let's start with a comment on crossing this milestone of a 1 lakh crore rupee market cap.
Thank you, Tamanna, for having me on your show. Always a pleasure. I think it's a milestone for Tata Power. Tata Power is a 108-year-old company, and reaching this milestone is a huge endorsement of what Tata Power has stood for last 100 years. And I think the whole credit of this has to be given to the founders who set up Tata Power way back in 1915, setting up hydropower plants. So clean power was that time also very much a requirement, and so it is today. So such a honor and a pleasure to be here and talking to you about how Tata Power is getting ready as Tata Power 2.0 to meet the future aspirations of the country in terms of how do we provide clean and green energy. And I think you will see many new initiatives and projects that will be implemented in the coming years.
So let's talk a bit about them, Dr. Sinha, and especially in light of the recently concluded COP28 in Dubai, where there were some very ambitious targets also set. If you can just give us some color, some details of how Tata Power, as the largest integrated power company, plans to fuel India's growth, but with cleaner energy.
So it's not now, but actually about 5 years back, Tata Power took a stand that we will move from conventional coal-based plants to clean energy solutions. And in 2015, we had 16% of our installed capacity, which was in clean energy. Today, we are 38%. And we have plans to reach a 70% level by 2030, and of course 100% by 2045. So what we have done is that in last few years we have added capacities. It started with plain vanilla solar plants and then wind plants, and then now we are moving towards a hybrid of solar and wind. In some cases we've also gone for storage. And in the next phase, we are setting up pumped hydro plants in our existing hydro stations, where we will be generating nearly 3 gigawatt of pumped hydro plants. The objective is that we will give them as bundled solutions to the consumers. And these can be utilities, these can be commercial and industrial consumers, where we offer them a bundled solution of solar, wind, maybe a little bit of battery storage, pumped hydro plants, as also a bit of demand side management and demand response. And the whole objective is to give 24/7 clean energy solutions.
You know, I'm just going to ask you a follow-up there, and I want to come to financials, EBITDA, your capex of 60,000 crores, etc. But just because of what we saw in the last couple of years in the European context, where they realized when push comes to shove, renewable energy is cleaner, greener, preferable, but is not always consistent. And you talked about providing 24/7 renewable clean energy. Are you seeing operational issues and challenges there? What would they be?
I agree with you that compared to some of the other countries, we need to plan this transition. This cannot be a knee-jerk react. And that's why when we are talking about the 24/7 renewable solution, we are talking of time frame of 27, 28, by when we would be in a position to set up some of the hydropower plants, and at scale. These cannot be just one or two of them, but at scale, so that these can meet the requirement of power when we don't have the solar generation or the wind generation. So I think we need to have a combination of solutions to ensure that the power supply is not only reliable, but there is resilience. That means there is a fallback option, and some of these solutions that we are implementing will support us in both ensuring reliable power as well as in ensuring that there is resilience and a fallback option.
It also needs to be affordable, and the energy costs need to be paid. Both I'm pointing out as endemic concerns of the energy sector in India. Do those concerns change or go away with renewable energy, that your end consumer actually pays for it and it is affordable enough?
I agree with you. Power is a public utility and it needs to be given to everyone, whether it is in urban areas or rural areas or to any type of consumer. And I think affordability and cost of power will be a very, very important criteria. So when we talk of clean and green energy and in abundance, it also means that it has to be affordable and economical, and it cannot be higher than what is the present cost. And I think we are fortunate that clean energy, especially solar and wind, the costs have come down drastically in last few years, and with better technologies, it is expected to come down in future. If we can get the storage solutions at an affordable price, and some of the work that is happening in the battery storage, and of course the pump storage, we should be in a position to give alternate reliable green power, clean power at a tariff which is much lower than the conventional tariff that people are paying today.
Dr. Sinha, may I ask you more specific questions? Because we had this conversation earlier today. Also, we were speaking with JSW Energy, and we were trying to get a sense of per unit. What is cheaper right now, renewable or thermal power, to make it and by the time it reaches the end consumer? Can you give us a sense of that?
So I would not like to give a present tariff, but I would definitely like to give the type of solutions that are now coming up. And the tariff that we are looking in 27-28 will possibly be lower than what is the present cost of power from conventional sources. So I think we need to look at it from a little longer term perspective, and also the energy transition solutions that are coming in. So if we implement some of the solutions that we have been working on, I'm confident that post 27-28 we'll have power rates, and mind you, these power rates will virtually remain flat for 25 years.
Oh.
Because the solar and wind, you don't have any variable cost. There is no cost of sun rays or the wind speeds. So I think it's going to be a very, very attractive solution.
So by that 27-28 kind of target, because your renewable energy generation target is 15 gigawatts 27 and 20 gigawatts by 2030. So by that 27-28 target, what is the EBITDA looking like? What is the free cash flow looking like when this switch happens? What are the concurrent financials looking like?
So the reason why I'm saying 27-28 is because many of our pumped hydro solutions which we are working on will happen by that time frame, and the bundling of power that will take place with solar, wind, and the pumped hydro and some of the storage, the overall basket of cost will be much lower, and that's why I'm giving a target of 27-28. And what we are working on will ensure that we not only have good cash flows, but we will generate enough EBITDA to promote future capital investments that the company will have to do.
So any kind of number estimate that you can put together with it, with that EBITDA outlook?
I think we have already shared that in by 27-28, we'll double our revenue, double our EBITDA, and double our profit. So those numbers are very much there, and we've already shared. Uh, and uh, and I think we are very confident of meeting those numbers.
Give us a sense, Dr. Sinha, what is the contribution of the rooftop solar and group captive right now to the company's revenue?
It's not very large, but I think it's about, I would say about 10%. But going forward, this will increase substantially as these are new businesses, and we should be in a position to do much better going forward.
All right. We've spoken and heard a wonderful, clear idea from you on the longer term picture, the move to renewables, but some shorter term sort of challenges perhaps ahead. Copper prices, one of them, a key input, is looking like they will urge up. Last couple of months, prices have gone up internationally about 6%. Does that bother you at all? What is the traction till, you're still producing thermal energy on coal prices, the directionality there? Are those challenges at all?
What we have seen is there is a cycle, it's cyclical in terms of the prices of various commodities, which includes coal. And while it had gone up very much during 2022, it came down in last 6 to 8 months. And so it's cyclical. We need to see what the sort of cycle it would be. Of course, there have been few aberrations which have been there, especially in 22 that we saw. But going forward, I think it will be all range bound as it has been before COVID. So we do expect that there would be some amount of increase, but not that it will very much impact the tariffs or very much impact the project costs.
All right. Just a last word from you, Dr. Sinha, before I let you go, is, India has a very ambitious renewable energy goal. And the world is looking at India because it's also growing at such a fast speed. We often, on global forums, start getting questioned about whether we're going to be able to grow with cleaner energy. What is your view here on whether we can achieve these goals?
I think if you see the track record of the country, we have grown at a very, very fast pace in last 20 years. And just to give you some data point, we were about 105 gigawatt in 2003. In 2013, we were about 200 gigawatt, and now we are 425 gigawatt in 2023. So every 10 years, we have actually doubled. So if we say that by 2033, we will be 900 gigawatt or 1000 gigawatt, I don't think we'll be very much off the market. And the new capacities, which are definitely going to be renewable capacities, will get added. So the 400 or 500 gigawatt capacity additions that we are talking in next 10 years is definitely achievable, and we have demonstrated it with our actions in last 2 decades.
All right, we've made a good start. We have to follow through. That's the important thing. Thank you so much. Absolute pleasure speaking with you today, Dr. Sinha.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.